Hello and welcome to Arcade Couch, the best place to chill with your friends and get your gaming goodness every Saturday at 6 AM Australian Eastern Time. I'm Ashley Hobley, and joining me today on the couch is Ciaran Marchant.
It's me. I'm sorry. I'm a bit late. I'm here to get my trophy for winning E3 predictions. I'm here to claim the trophy.
This is awkward.
I heard you got Ciaran just to fill the spot of the winner last week, and I was just rushing in right now to actually have the award ceremony. Just you and me.
There's a trophy for you. It's for last place because you did very poorly.
What do you mean?
You only got like 2.5 points.
No,
15.
No, I don't. This is why Dylan isn't here. He couldn't face me to make sure when I come. Like I got told, don't be on the.
He celebrated very hard. That's why he's not here.
Yeah, it's just too hard. Too hard. Of course, yeah. Dylan went the safest out of all of us this year. Dylan was like El Safo #1, and it was both of you. Both of you like dumped the spirit after you lost to me last year. I was like, it's okay. We're in the second year. Second year of the prediction between the three of us. I'll just go in for some wacky zany ones and still take out the win. But no, you guys are going in for the ones that you just got your little, inside notes. Just being like inside thoughts.
I don't know. I feel like you had some of the safest ones possible.
I know, and I still didn't get points for them.
Yeah. So, listen into last week's episode of Arcade Couch if you want to hear the full E3 predictions wrap up. But today on the show, we're going to be talking about EA defending loot boxes hilariously, Pokemon Sword and Shield news, and we're also going to be discussing some of the things that we didn't see at E3 and what that means. Look into a crystal ball and that sort of thing. But Ciaran, you weren't here to sort of wrap up E3 last week.
No.
You only joined us for the one Reacts as well.
I did.
So
I only woke up for the one Reacts.
Yeah.
Well, I was there for the after show of one of them. Jeez.
Yeah, that's true. You're there for the after show for Microsoft. But how did you enjoy the E3 well rested?
Yeah, E3 was very well rested for me. I still had to work freaking full time, and Dylan did as well. But anyway, I guess E3, it was a weird year. It was a year where everybody had to I think everybody but Nintendo had to keep a majority of their cards closer to their chest. It was just one of those years where you had to find the balance of, are they going to, do we show this leading up to the new consoles? Are we going to show this now? I think, for me, some of the shows, like Bethesda's, Bethesda needed to take a year off, and Bethesda needs to take a couple years off. And I said this in our wrap-up of the Bethesda reaction, was that Bethesda don't have enough to show at the moment to justify a whole show. Or at least right now this year they didn't. And a lot of it was just random stuff that was already out, mobile games, things that we'd already seen, or we'd seen better versions of the same things earlier than we had at the show, which was kind of weird. Overall, E3 was a good event. It's a good time of year as always, and there were surprises. The Keanu Reeves moment is probably my favorite moment out of it. I was already excited for Cyberpunk, and you and Dylan made a lot of jokes about it, but I was already excited for Cyberpunk. I'm super on board for Cyberpunk, and just the connotation of not just him being in, but the character he's playing in that is really big, and it kind of lends itself to show more of what that game's going to be. And I know some people aren't excited for Cyberpunk, but I'm super excited. And it was just there was a news story I was reading today that said that CD Projekt Red were going to be committing to expansions or DLC for Cyberpunk the same size as The Witcher 3's.
Jeez, that's a fair bit.
Witcher 3's like it was almost like another additional map they gave you.
Yeah, you could effectively have charged for a new game with the amount of DLC
exactly.
content there was.
And so they want to commit to having the same level of DLC for that game, and that's really exciting. I'm really pumped for Cyberpunk, and I even watched through different parts of different trailers the other day with friends just because we were so excited talking about it. I think Nintendo knocked it out of the park, but I think Nintendo had everything that they could to do just to wang it out there because they've got the Switch. They're not looking to upgrade their console anytime soon. They're not looking to be in the next generation. I think Nintendo have done this really good job it's finally paid off after the Wii U. It's finally paid off that they're in this off cycle, that they're not getting caught up in the Xbox and PlayStation generations. That they're just
not
doing
direct competition anymore.
Yeah, they're
not
just
that they have been for a while, but
very long time. But they're just kind of off doing their own thing, and that lends itself to being really good. Where they seem to have a really good, nice, natural flow of exclusives and first party products coming out. And I think it's hard for Nintendo not to do that because they have such a fantastic collection of IPs. They have such a fantastic collection of characters that they can pull from, that there should always be something else shown from that collection. There'll always be something good. Even like them showing Zelda at the end. That was really cool to know that we're getting Breath of the Wild 2 or whatever it's going to be called. But
it's like 20 years away, but
it's 20 years away. It's going to be on the Switch 4K when everybody else is on like virtual reality. But I'm excited. It's good to know that Zelda has a direction. We know where Zelda's going, and we've got that direction going forward with Breath of the Wild 2. That's maintaining what Zelda's going to be, because I think for so many years the main Zelda game has been just something a little bit abstract or completely different than what the last one was. Like it was still dungeons. It still had the Zelda basics, but They all tried to be different too much in many ways.
Yeah. Well, it's interesting that it's a direct sequel. Whether they actually call it Breath of the Wild 2, I don't know, but that they've declared that it is a sequel to the last game rather than a completely new iteration or whatever.
Which I think is good. I'm interested to see how they change the world so that exploring it again brings back the feel of nostalgia, but at the same time isn't just repeating the same place again. With Hyrule Castle floating into the air, there's a whole range of possibilities that could mean. But I'm excited. Nintendo's exciting. Ubisoft, it was okay. I found it really funny that their big end of conference short was that Gods game about
Gods and Monsters,
and which I thought was a really weird game to go with, considering you've just done Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and it feels like that's pulling from the same kind of...
They showed barely anything.
They showed barely anything, but they alluded to the fact that it was related to like the Greek gods and stuff like that. And
yeah, I guess.
They alluded to it, I guess.
They alluded to it. It's interesting that people are getting super hyped about that game when we know
it was like nothing. I wasn't hyped about it. I was just... It looked very Greek. The character's armor looked very Greek. I was like, okay, sure. I guess I hope we'll be over the hype by the time it eventually comes out. We won't really...
Well, it's coming out next year, so...
Well...
It's like early next year. Well, it could potentially be early next year. So
yeah, okay.
It's pretty crazy.
I don't know how I feel about coming out of E3. Like Xbox did an okay to good job. I was disappointed in their Gears showing. Their Gears showing was really weird.
Yeah.
And I guess they're appealing to their multiplayer fans to come in and try this horde mode. But
is that the core fans of Gears of War?
But that isn't the core fans. Like it was to have that thing of Kate with the Billie Eilish music playing for kind of a long time and then not lead into anything story based was quite odd. Was really odd. And Halo Infinite just makes me want more. There's just something. I don't think everybody has the connection with certain games that. As soon as they hear the music of that game, it pulls emotions from them. It makes them excited. It makes them happy. The moment that kind of epic orchestral Halo music started to kick in at the end of the first trailer, I was so hyped. I was so in, just because it's got, like, just that music is so goddamn good. I guess you look at me like I'm an alien because...
No, I can understand where you're coming from. I've seen other people. Obviously, I saw, like, Alana Pierce over at Funhouse. When that trailer came on, she got very teary-eyed and stuff and emotional. So yeah, obviously those games mean a lot to a lot of people. So,
and then there was Square Enix that I thought was gonna hit it out of the park. Like Final Fantasy VII, I was like the remake. I was like, this looks great. I'm really excited for this game. It's gonna be awesome. Sweet. It's gonna be.
It's great.
On 2 discs. Okay. Hello guys. You know it's 2019, not...
Red Dead's on 2 discs.
Oh, I didn't know that. I guess who buys discs?
I'm pretty sure, from memory.
Is it actually?
I'm pretty sure Red Dead Redemption's...
You know what? Why do I even care that it's on 2 discs? Like, download everything.
Who cares?
Yeah!
It's going to be 100 gig. That's the...
It's going to be... Oh, well, that's fine. It worried me that they said the first disc is just before you leave Medea, because I'm like... Oh no, are they like they're like
yeah, the messaging about how much of Final Fantasy VII is in this remake is unclear.
Yes.
And it is a little bit concerning. There seems to be speculation that just Midgard is on this game.
Yeah, it's Midgard. Sorry, I said Medea.
Yeah, so... And nobody wants to confirm or deny, so...
Like, yeah, it
seems odd to call the game Final Fantasy VII Remake if you're only putting a third of the game into the game.
A third of the game into it. It's super weird. But, hey, I was like, okay, Square Enix, you're starting off really well. And then the whole middle portion of that conference, I think I didn't... I was looking at something else, because lots of Japanese RPGs came up. And I know that's Square Enix's thing, but I was like, okay, sure. And then the Avengers came up. And this is going to sound really weird for me, because I'm a fanboy of voice actors.
Yeah.
There was something about Troy Baker, Nolan North in this game that I was like, no, like, I don't know.
Oh,
yeah, it's weird.
The Avengers are voice acting plus that other guy, and you're not on board.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it was such a great voice acting cast, but it was almost like for this Avengers game, I didn't want it to have, and it's a weird thing, I didn't want it to have voices that I know and voices that I could put a face to. Because the moment I hear Nolan North, the moment I hear Troy Baker, Laura Bailey, Travis Willingham, I know who they are. Like, instantly.
Did you know from the first trailer?
Yeah, from the first trailer. Okay. From the first trailer, I thought it was Travis, and I really didn't like Thor's voice. I thought Thor's voice was kind of weird, and I was like, okay. And maybe that's just because I am too used to... yeah, the Hemsworth portrayal of the character, which has lessened on the Norse god aspect of the character, and amped up that surfer guy kind of character. I don't know, it's really weird, but
dude bro thing.
Yeah, the dude bro kind of character. So to hear and Nolan North as Tony Stark. And maybe, once again, that's because I'm so attached to Robert Downey Jr.'s portrayal of Tony Stark that I'm like, this doesn't sound right. But I'll probably get over that. It's just a fact, I'll get over it. They got a big... I didn't think we saw enough of that game, though. Well, we didn't see anything of the game. Yeah, but
that was an issue.
Yeah, I just... I think that was probably the most exciting game that we knew that was coming out was Avengers, and
that we didn't know anything about.
That we didn't know anything about, and that was coming, that was going to be there. And what they did to show it was really just not enough. And that game kind of worries me, just a touch.
All the stories coming out afterwards.
Yeah,
improve my thoughts on the game.
No, there's a lot of stuff, and people throwing around games for service, and all these kind of buzzwords around this game. I'm like,
apparently the campaign is single player, but then you can play other missions in co-op. Apparently, and then it's going to be games of service, I guess, sort of. to a certain extent because they're going to be
So-
having DLC constantly come out. So I guess they're going to have new missions with new characters.
When they started it, I almost thought that it was going to be about you making your own Avenger and making
that was
your own
also a
character.
rumor that was going around before
Like,
the game came out. So
That's how it started with Avengers Day, yeah, and then being reveled and everything. And I was like, oh, you know what? I'm in for that. Making my own custom Avenger, playing around with all the rest of the characters, sure. And then it wasn't that, and I got a little worried because I read an article. I can't remember where I read this article, but the author stated about how they talked about Spider-Man as a game, and Spider-Man playing as Peter Parker / Spider-Man was the best shit in the world. But who wanted to play as Mary Jane or Miles Morales? That gameplay didn't quite click. Whereas this game,
well, it was never going to be able to compare to playing as Spider-Man. So.
yeah, exactly. Whereas this game, I'm really worried about, and there's gonna be it. I'm really worried about one or more of the characters having gameplay sections that just don't click, that just don't feel as good as other stuff. I don't want to be sat there playing the Hulk section thinking, God, I wish I was playing as Iron Man right now. Like, I don't want that just because of like the game's mechanics are going to change so much. I don't want to feel like one character's mechanics or aspects is just going to be a little less looked after than the rest of them. But yeah, overall E3 was solid. I think there was, it wasn't something we could expect heaps from just because of where it was at. I've realized that the console craze really has worn off on me because of being a PC gamer. And, the specs and the things that people talk about, that consoles talk about in their future consoles, are stuff that PCs have had for years. And I understand the hype from everybody else who are console gamers. 100%. You've never had this kind of thing before. But I like watching you guys have never had this kind of thing before. Awesome. Congratulations. Welcome to 2010. But when in the Xbox conference, when they announced that it would do 120 frames a second, I couldn't stop myself from laughing. Like, I laughed a lot. I cracked up in the reactions video we did when I brought it up because it just sounded like such a dumb number. And looking back at it, that isn't going to be 4K 120 frames. Like, that's I don't know. It just feels weird. I don't know, consoles. I'll still buy them, and feel like an idiot for buying them, but I still will. But yeah, E3 was pretty solid. I was pretty happy.
Okay. Yeah,
I believe I won in the hearts of our listeners and in my heart as well.
of an alternate universe, I guess.
Yep.
Okay, let's go over what we sort of did last week. Rankings for the press conferences.
Okay. Worst press conference was Bethesda, Ubisoft, Square, Xbox, Nintendo.
Okay. And top 5 games coming out of E3.
Cyberpunk 2077, Halo Infinite, Final Fantasy VII Remake, even though I'm worried about it. I'm really worried about that game. Holy crap. God, it feels like it was an age ago, but there was still so goddamn much. Borderlands 3 and Outer Worlds, because
Outer Worlds.
They're my
looks
jam.
good.
It looks very good. I'm excited. Yeah, Outer Worlds is kind of my game, and I'm happy that I've already got it. So yeah, well, I've already purchased.
Oh yeah,
because of Game Pass.
That was surprising. That was I don't know if we probably mentioned it, but it's surprising it's coming to Game Pass day one. That's the first thing published by somebody else that's coming.
Yeah, but I think maybe Microsoft and Bethesda did their magic because Xbox was like, hey, you're going to be part of us anyway. We'll work out with the publisher the rights.
Obsidian.
Obsidian? What did I say?
Bethesda.
Did I say
that
Bethesda?
Would have been a huge get.
That would be massive if Bethesda come out with an Xbox Game Pass game. But no, Obsidian, sorry. They're kind of the same thing.
All right, let's move on to some other news. So EA apparently they're trying to defend their loot box thing all over the world. Different countries are asking them to come forward and press their claims as to why they should be allowed to keep doing these microtransaction-driven loot boxes. They were recently they were testifying in front of the United Kingdom's Digital Culture, Media and Sports Committee on Immersive and Addictive Technologies. That's a mouthful. When EA's Vice President of Legal, Kerry Hopkins, offered up a novel defense of microtransaction-driven loot boxes and card packs, which many of its games contain. Quote, "Well, first, we don't call them loot boxes. We look at them as surprise mechanics. If you go to a store that sells a lot of toys, you do search for surprise toys. What you'll find is that there is something people enjoy. They enjoy surprises." Hopkins then goes on to compare it to other surprise toys like Hatchimals and LOL surprises and Kinder surprises, before EA does stating that EA believes their approach is actually quite ethical and quite fun, enjoyable to people. Does this sound like gibberish? Honestly,
I don't think they could have worded it worse, right? Like, the moment I read the headline of the Kotaku article when I was skimming over on my lunch break this afternoon, of where I read the word surprise mechanic, I was... Sorry, surprise mechanic sounds goddamn terrible. And if you have to put quite in front of anything, then you've got a problem. Like, if I got given a car and somebody was like, well, this is quite safe, I don't know how I'd feel about driving that car. You know, it's just quite ethical. How can you be quite ethical? Why isn't it just ethical? That means that there's some form or something about it that isn't ethical.
There's some form of doubt in there that makes you think, yeah, there's a small chance we're wrong.
Yeah, there's like, it's like, oh, well, if they take a step back at some point, they just have to say, well, we only said it was quite ethical. We didn't think it was totally ethical. Duh. No, we're not idiots. They've done loot boxes so badly. Like, EA have done loot boxes so goddamn terribly. And I think because of that...
Oh, well, not on everything. I think some games are obviously worse than other games.
Yeah.
I think they've probably got their sports games now down to a science.
Which is kind of interesting that there seems to be such a difference between that. Like... I know the booster packs for FIFA and stuff for their Ultimate Team. That works really well and nobody ever has a problem with that. But then for, say, Star Wars, when they did that originally, like, it was so garbage and so...
Yeah.
Like, it's just really weird how a company can feel like, because they're such a big company and there's so different departments and different areas to it, that they can be so spread on this matter. Like, they can be so different across different versions of their game. It's really bizarre. I think, as I've said in the past, this is flow-on effect, and it's going to flow onto other aspects of our life. I don't understand how people, if they're going to call this gambling, how the fuck are they going to keep selling Magic the Gathering or Pokemon cards booster packs?
Or any of the surprise toys that we just mentioned.
Or any of the surprise toys. I laughed at the fact that they brought Kinder Surprise up, because it's in the UK, so it's allowed there, but like Kinder Surprise being banned in the United States, which is just... Okay, like, you're bringing up some really weird stuff.
That's a choking hazard, that's why.
It's a choking hazard, not
because Americans don't understand.
They don't understand how not to eat, like, the whole thing. Like, just stick the whole thing in your mouth. But it's really... And it's pointing out... So, what it feels like they've done in this statement is EA's been like, well, if you're taking me down, I'm bringing everything down with me, and like lashing out at everything else around it, trying to bring it down. And
you can't bring us all down.
Yeah, what you gonna Judge? I know you love Kinder Surprise. Are you gonna take me down and ruin your favorite Kinder Surprise? No. I mean,
I wouldn't be against knowing what toys inside the Kinder Surprise.
I would love to know what toys in the Kinder Surprise. I think that would be a good... Like, imagine if a Kinder Surprise came with, like, a little window. Came with a little window on the package that was like, this is what you get in it. And then...
Like a little jelly window.
Ew. Jelly window in a Kinder
I
Surprise?
don't know.
Gross.
How are you supposed to eat the window then?
Can you not? I'm glad this is not a confectionery creation podcast because you've just failed us all, Ashley.
Otherwise, unless you make the window not edible either.
No, you make the window just blank. You just cut a hole
so you
in
just
the
have
chocolate.
a hole of nothing.
Yeah, you just charge like 10 cents less and you cut 10 cents worth of chocolate. Yeah, it's sure EA. I think EA are like the most corporationally terrible company in gaming. Like, they're just like, whenever you see these TV shows or you see The Simpsons with Mr. Burns sitting at the top of his nuclear power plant with all of his team of lawyers, and he has 12 lawyers. That's what I imagine EA to be. Like, just... And that's probably terrible, because they're probably very nice people at EA. But just as a company, it just... I don't know. It's weird. Don't call something a surprise mechanic. You're not making... I just... Ugh.
Yep. So going from one company that people aren't happy with to another company that people aren't happy with, Game Freak showed off, obviously, Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield at E3, but it is one thing that was said during the Nintendo Treehouse Live presentation that has made a lot of a lot of Pokemon fans very upset. Some of the Pokemon, and we don't know which ones, will not be transferable from the upcoming Pokemon Home service to Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield. But the Pokemon company has made a point of carrying your old Pokemon to a new installment since 2002's Ruby and Sapphire, and with the 3DS Virtual Console versions of Pokemon Red, Blue, Yellow, Gold, Silver being compatible with Pokemon Bank service, it's possible to transfer a Pokemon from those games that came out in 1998 to the recent installments, Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. But from here on out, it will only be the Pokemon that are available in the Galar region that will be allowed to be in Sword and Shield. So potentially could be hundreds of Pokemon that are no longer be able to be used in the current game.
Yeah, this is... First, can I say, goddamn Game Freak and Pokemon making it so there's always one of the legendary characters on the box art looks freaking terrible every single time.
What?
There's always...
Which one is it this time?
The Shield looks really bad.
What? Are you kidding?
Why would you pick the Shield one when you could be the sword?
What, you prefer the dog with the holding a sword?
Yes! It looks so much better than the freaking...
It doesn't make any sense.
The camel
How's he supposed to eat?
With a massive...
Does he lose it?
How does the freaking Shield character get through doors? It's just going to get stuck.
He lives in the woods.
It just
doesn't
gonna
need to
get
go
stuck.
outdoors.
How is he going to get between two slightly closer than normal trees?
He's huge. He can just boulder them over. I'm sure he's got some super howling powers or something.
It's just stupid. It's just going to get stuck there. They're just going to go, eh. This news saddens me. Not because of the news itself, but because of the impact it's having on some truly great Nintendo fans. Like, it's just like there's a lot of things where I'm like, well, it's not the end of the world for me because I'm not involved in a lot of these things that you're going to lose. I'm not involved. I'll probably grab Pokemon Sword and jump back into the game and have a really great time with it. Why are you shaking your head?
Because you said Sword, not Shield.
I'm gonna jump back into Sword and have a really great time with it. I think for me this screams that it's gonna I think the rest of the Pokemon will come later on in the game. If that means they will release DLC or release an expansion to this game that opens up more regions, and as the more regions are opened up for the game, the Pokemon come with it. That's the one thing I've always wanted in a Pokemon game, and I hope that they do with the Switch being a better platform than the Nintendo, is that I've always wanted a Pokemon game where you start in a region and then you can just keep adventuring to all the other regions. It's just non-stop Pokemon. Just you go everywhere. It's not...
You get on a plane, you go somewhere else.
Yeah, you get on a plane, you get on a boat, you travel to the next region, you keep training and stuff, like the TV show did. And I hope that's what they do now. It sucks that they're having to block off these Pokemon for now. I don't think it's going to be a permanent thing. I think they'd be stupid to make it a permanent thing. I think they want people to enjoy... Maybe they just want people to enjoy the new Pokemon. Like, just be like... Spend some time just with the new Pokemon, enjoy them, and then we'll put everything in together again.
Okay. Well, so they have cited one of the reasons that they aren't bringing all 809, 802 Pokemon, I think, that are currently made is creating the HD assets and animations for all of the creatures.
Will take a very long time.
Yeah.
Imagine, you're blowing them up, you're making them massive. You gotta...
they've got to... How are you supposed to Dynamax all of them? You got to figure out what sort of scale you're going to have all of them at. Like, it's crazy. And then you've got them all. They've each got individual moves and whatever, and they've all got to, I guess, have some slightly different sort of animation.
Yeah.
Apparently that isn't going over well with fans. I don't know if you saw it, but that someone said, "Oh, you can just... It'll only take you 5 minutes to make them."
Sorry.
Yep.
Sorry.
And then, just to render them in 3D.
Sorry.
Yep. So of course, artists went out and showed what they could do in 5 minutes. It wasn't pretty. But, so if you want to look for that on Twitter.
The thing for me is, if it was a Western organization or a Western company, I'd probably be in a different position, because I'd be like, well, I think I would see this as a money grab, not as a passion thing. I'd see this as, we'll just let you buy them later. We'll let you buy them later. And I'd be really suspicious about that. They're just wanting... with Game Freak and Nintendo, it makes me feel like it's more... Makes me feel more like it's... it makes me feel like it's more of a passion thing than it is a money grab thing. If they're going to do all 800 Pokemon, they want to do it the right way. They want their Pokemon to look good and feel right and interact right with the world, than if they were just going to smash them all in there. Because I think this year is the year they kind of had to bring a Pokemon game out. Like, you guys are built so well for this. It's time for you to bring a Pokemon game out. They could probably said, well, we could put 800 Pokemon in, but you're going to have to wait another year or two for the game. Yeah,
it definitely sounds like it was a timing thing that they have to hit this year, because this year they need to have a Pokemon.
Yeah.
Also, I think maybe it's also possibly trying to keep the casual fans who got into Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Pokemon Let's Go Eevee, that's the name of that other boring Pokemon, just not to bombard them with 800 new species of these 800 plus of these new creatures. But on the other hand, it doesn't make sense that the other week, when they had their Pokemon press conference or whatever, the crazy thing, they announced the Pokemon home service that's coming out in next year.
It's just unfortunate that they've announced this home thing that at the same time of going big on Sword and Shield. I think it's really sucks for them, but sometimes that you kind of have to just... how long do they sit on home then? Are they just going to wait on home until everything's ready for Pokemon Shield and Sword? Do they need to start getting marketing and getting people, excited for home? Clearly they haven't done it very well with the way they have done it, but I think there's still, I don't know. I think it's sad that so many Nintendo fans, and true Nintendo fans, not just people who are flip-flopping or kind of fans, people
who just want the most bang for their buck.
Yeah, exactly. They're people that really care about Pokemon and really care about Nintendo, are saddened and angered by this news, but I think it's going to be okay. I think it's going to be alright. Hold on.
I don't know. It seems like it's mostly the competitive people, the esports
Yes.
scene of Pokemon who are having the most issue with this. I'd be interested to see how many people actually go and catch 800 Pokemon, well, actually go through the game and get all the Pokemon that are available to capture in the game.
Yeah.
And whether that's something that Nintendo Game Freakers could put into consideration.
If it's esports and they're wanting to keep their super rare Pokemon that they've got all the perfect stats on and it's shiny and whatever, I think cool, but at the same time, if you're doing it for an esport, don't you want a clean slate? Like, don't you want a reset of everybody and everybody once again be on the same level and be like, go become good. Everybody gets an equal chance to become the best Pokemon, that there ever was.
I guess. I don't know. But for more on this subject, I would recommend listening to the most recent episode of The House Mario. Drew and Bryce over there, they have very opinionated views.
Yes.
It is. Yes. It's good. It's a good listen.
It's a very good listen. It was very good. I enjoyed it.
So, Ciaran, there's a reason why you didn't win the projections this year. It's because all the games you mentioned didn't show up.
Yeah, a lot.
So I figured we might as well just go through some of the games that we didn't see at E3 and what that means for these titles, I guess, going forward. We kick it off with Bayonetta 3.
Bayonetta
obviously
3.
Being developed by Platinum Games. It was announced at the Game Awards 2017. It's been pretty much in development ever since, as far as I'm aware, but it seems to have been taken over in the pecking order by Astral Chain, which was only announced last year, I feel like.
Yes.
In one of the Nintendo Directs.
Yes, I think maybe like the larger of the Nintendo Directs, maybe.
Maybe it was even the E3.
Yeah.
Feels something. But, yeah, apparently they're still working on Bayonetta 3, but I don't know. Where do you think Bayonetta 3 is coming out? And
I'm not worried about Bayonetta because I feel like Bayonetta is one of these games that they can just be like, it's ready, cool, we'll announce it in the next Direct. 3 to 6 months later, it'll be out, it'll still sell. Bayonetta
You don't
fans,
think it needs a big...
I don't think it needs a big lead up. I don't think it needs heaps of videos. And I know, you know what, there are some games when they're going for these second, third installments where if you already have a cult following or you have a decent following to yourself, rely on that following rather than having to worry about new fans all the time. And I know you'll be like, well, that's not smart business. But to do it, I think the thing is, if you can excite your fans you have quickly and well, that excitement flows over onto new fans and new people. That excitement carries over. And I think we will see it, I think maybe next year, but I don't think it's something to be worried about. I don't think you should be worried about Bayonetta.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely think maybe mid next year. I mean, or potentially even early next year, because we have only seen up to about February, March, January of Nintendo slate.
Yes,
because they play their releases pretty close to their chest.
Yes,
only show the next 6 months or so.
Extend things too
except
far
the
out.
Occasional tease of something.
Yes,
way down the line, but yeah, I definitely think Bayonetta 3 will be coming soonish, and we'll probably see something.
It'll be sooner rather than later.
I wouldn't be surprised TGS or something.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see something about Bayonetta towards the end of the year. Towards after everything's been released, maybe in December or early January, there's a Nintendo Direct and it's there. I don't think that would be too surprising.
Yeah. Speaking of Platinum Games, there was another game last year that was released. They released a trailer for called Babylon's Fall. I surely don't remember this because it was showcased in the Square Enix press conference at 2 o'clock in the morning.
Definitely no.
Again, there's been nothing seen of it since. It seems to be some sort of fantastical, action-based RPG. It seemed to be marked for release this year, but we haven't heard anything, haven't seen anything, and I would suspect it's probably down the list of things that Platinum Games is probably focused on.
It'd be less of their priorities right now.
Yeah.
I don't think... The fact that I can't remember it at all is a problem.
Yeah. I don't think it's coming out this year, probably.
It'll be a game...
Next year with a relaunched...
That'll be a relaunch trailer, and people will be like,
campaign.
oh, this is that game that we think was announced a couple years ago, but cool, it's actually getting a proper relaunch. Awesome.
Cool. Beyond Good and Evil 2.
Oh,
So
the
previous two E3s, we've gotten trailers and different cinematics and things after 10 years of it being in development or something.
Yep. They did a stream, and I was very worried when I heard that they were doing a stream. Because I was like, what do you mean? What do you mean?
Has it been or is it coming?
It's been. I think they were doing a stream, but the stream wasn't much. It wasn't gameplay or anything. I think they just streamed showing artwork of the game.
Oh, that's not promising.
Which was really... So I don't think this game's coming till 2021.
Ooh,
I don't think it's next year. If it was next year, there would be something about it. But... Oh, it worried me when it wasn't part of the press conference.
Yeah.
Like, that's really not good. Considering it was your big thing, 2 years ago, it was your massive thing to end with.
And then I think last year they were saying, "Oh, we're going to do a beta of the multiplayer."
Yeah, they beta
that
of
never seemed to do
the
go
flight
anywhere.
and stuff, and yeah, that worries me. I think the scale of that game or the scale that they proposed was really big. So I feel, I don't think it's coming out this year. Next year, it's definitely not this year, but I don't think it'll be next year either.
Yep. Sticking on Ubisoft, we didn't see Skull and Bones, the Ubisoft open world sim sailing piracy game. Like actual pirates, not pirates.
Holy crap, we didn't see any of it.
Well, it was delayed again till 2020. So it's not entirely unsurprising.
You would have thought that they would have showed something.
I mean, I guess at this point,
Ubisoft was really weird. Sam Fisher, where the fuck were you?
he was in that mobile game. That's why he didn't get any points.
Fucking hell! What?
Yeah, but hopefully it's out next year, 2020. But it seems like it's having development issues. So whether that's them trying to find the fun of the game, I think might be the issue.
Hopefully, yeah. Because I don't know. Maybe they've seen what Sea of Thieves is, and they're like, "Oh boy,
How do we differentiate ourselves?
How do we differentiate ourselves without the being able to leave the ship?"
Yeah, that's an issue.
Like,
who really wants to play as just one boat?
yeah, like in Sea of Thieves, I don't think you'd get the player base that it still hangs on to pretty well if you were confined to the ship and you weren't actually walking around and doing stuff.
Yeah. So.
Yikes.
Yeah. For the weebs out there, we didn't get anything from Shin Megami Tensei 5, which is the original series that spun off Persona 5, or the Persona series. I'm not surprised we didn't see anything. I'm assuming that's like a TGS, something a bit more Japanese focused.
Japanese
series.
Even though, there was a lot of Japanese games.
Yeah, that's true. Square Enix in that,
year.
but they're Bandai Namco? I don't know who publishes. Not Atlas, I would assume. But
yeah.
Yeah, I would expect TGS, and then obviously maybe a release next year. I would suspect there would be a big push for this one in the West, see, on the success of Persona. So, Dash, there you go. Also didn't see anything from Persona 5 Scramble, which broke my heart. But
really?
I guess, yeah, because for the memes.
For the memes.
I would, yeah, maybe for like a state of play or another direct, they'll show a bit more content and maybe get a release date of when that's actually coming out. But I feel like it's a pretty big-ish title. I guess it didn't make sense to put it in Nintendo, seeing as they're pushing the new DLC characters. They don't need to bring Joker back. Unsurprising, we didn't see any Metroid Prime 4, especially seeing as it was recently taken over.
Considering,
yeah,
everything that's happening with that game.
Yeah, when it wasn't that long ago that it was announced that Retro's
January
taking over,
or February. It was early
they
this year.
Yeah, it was January, so... I mean, they could have pulled together like a CGI trailer.
They could have done something. I think it would have been... it's not the Nintendo way. They could have done something that just to set fans' minds of, hey, don't stress, the ship's okay, we're not sinking, we're just taking on a different course. I think that would have helped, but I don't think that's how Nintendo does things, really.
Yeah. Then, of course, we didn't see anything from Elder Scrolls 6 or Starfield. I guess, again, not surprising, seeing as they're probably focused on other things. Or very early in development.
I think they're both next-gen titles. Elder Scrolls being like... Yeah. Elder Scrolls being a later next-gen title. Like, I'm talking year 2 or 3 of next-gen. Starfield, as, you know, Todd Howard did say last year, even though we're showing Elder Scrolls right now... Starfield's more important than Elder Scrolls.
Starfield's our next game, yeah.
Yeah, Starfield's the next thing. And we have nothing about Starfield, which is like... Yeah. Yay!
I mean, it makes sense. We'll probably see it next year, and they'll do like a Fallout sort of thing, where it's at launch. Here's all the information about it.
No, I don't think they'll do that.
Really?
I think it's a 2021 game.
Ooh. Okay.
I don't think they'll release Starfield upon a launching...
That's true. They want a bit more of a player base.
On a launching kind of console. Like, I don't think they do that. I think they would wait until the following year and release it that year.
So what, you think they're both 2021? Or is
I think... No. I think Elder Scrolls is 2 to 3 years into the new console's life cycle. So... If November or October next year is the start, I'm talking 2022 or 2023 for Elder Scrolls 6. More leaning to 23. Because if they... You know what? I'd have my mind blown if back-to-back year 1 and the next year, they release Starfield Elder Scrolls. That'd be massive. Like, that would be huge. To release 2 massive games for Bethesda... in those 2 years, but I don't think they'll do it. Just because Bethesda is slowly getting the message that you need to fix your shit before you release it. Like, very slowly. I think if Starfield comes out broken and people don't like Starfield, that'll make Elder Scrolls take longer. Because they'll become more... Yeah. They'll become more...
They've lost a bit of goodwill.
Yes, they've lost a lot of goodwill with a lot of people now, with consistent game launches of just jank, just absolute jank. It's great jank, it's shiny jank, but it's janky. And people are so, you know, I was so sick of reading the comment every time at Bethesda, you know what, if this wasn't Bethesda, you guys would be all complaining. And it's like, and those comments are slowly coming through now, where it's like... Yeah. Bethesda, you've kind of worn out your position here, guys.
Worn out your welcome, yeah.
Yeah, you need to, and that's why I kind of don't want them at E3 next year. I don't think they should be at E3 next year. I think they should go underground. No more South Park style BP. We're sorry, kind of messages that I got the vibe from Todd Howard for. Just go away for a little bit, please.
Yeah. So we didn't see anything from the new Need for Speed. It was announced, I believe, earlier this year or last year that there's going to be a Need for Speed this year. But there wasn't anything at EA Play about the new Need for Speed.
Need for Speed is just a franchise that I could not care less about anymore.
I know. But
like, I remember there was that Need for Speed that was like a Fast and Furious movie. I
believe that was the last one.
Was that the last one? Because I can never remember. I can remember seeing it at E3, but I can never remember it coming out. And I know it's... I think I know it's come out because it was like about a brother and a sister, and they were like doing like Fast and Furious style freaking heists. And yeah, I could remember seeing the E3 trailer for it, but not any recollection of it coming out.
I think it was Need for Speed Payback in 2017.
That could be right.
That sounds about right.
Should be right.
But yeah, apparently nothing on there. Not surprising, EA didn't show very much at the EA Play, so Very, very selected amount of games. Which I guess brings up my next one, Anthem. Didn't see anything about Anthem, or they didn't talk about Anthem.
There's a reason for that.
Anthem was banned from the EA Play.
There's a reason.
I mean, at least Bethesda came out and addressed Fallout 76 and sort of gave their pathway of what's happening next.
The problem with Anthem is that BioWare's got so much work to do. BioWare just need to go into a hole and not come out until they have Dragon Age ready. Just go away for a bit. Go away, come back with Dragon Age, come back with a Mass Effect reboot that's actually good. Come back later. But right now, you're in a spot of bother, BioWare, because you killed or you freaking put to death Mass Effect Andromeda to make Anthem, and then Anthem was terrible. I read another article today about Anthem is pretty much being given away right now. Places are selling it
at $19.
$19 for Anthem. That's ridiculously worrying.
That's brand new. That's not even pre-owned.
Yeah, imagine, that's brand new $19.
I'd hate to think how much money you get for a pre-owned copy of
Anthem.
Trading value would be terrible.
$. You could go get yourself an ice cream cone from McDonald's with it.
Your copy of FIFA 17 would be worth more.
It would be probably definitely worth more. That's ridiculous. Do
you think they just need to call it and say, hey, it's dead. We're not going to work on it anymore?
Yeah. I think it's had a silent death. I think they'll maybe keep putting content out for a little bit just to satiate the people that have...
try and smoke the flames, see if they can get the fire back up. But
yeah, just put little stuff out, but just move on. It's dead.
Interesting. Well, I guess they also didn't show anything from Dragon Age, even though there was a teaser from back at...
But that's fine.
The Game Awards.
Yeah, that's fine. Just go away. Go make Dragon Age. Come back. Don't give me Hideo Kojima-style trailers. Just go away.
Yep. We didn't see Pikmin 4, to my disappointment, even though that's been in development for a while.
Forever.
But again, Nintendo's got a full slate.
The thing is, Nintendo was stacked as it was. Even though there was a couple Nintendo games that I was like... And there's always a couple Nintendo games where I'm like, I don't know why this is here. Like, there's this mech game that they've been showing for ages that I'm like...
Deus Ex Machina
or something? Yeah, something like that, where I'm like, you keep showing this to me, I keep not being interested, but okay, Nintendo, you do you. You do... And that is Nintendo.
It's coming out, though. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's like, Nintendo, you do you. So, whatevs. Pikmin will be here when it's here. People love it when it's here. Eh.
We also didn't see anything from the other Game Freak game, Town. But again, that's not surprising, seeing as it's probably a while away. I assume they're not going to put full work into it till Pokemon's out.
No. I didn't see it on your list, but Skate.
I've got a bunch of...
Skate 3.
Session. That's the... Session's the skateboarding game we saw last year.
Session is the skateboarding game, but at one point, Skate was like massively trending, either on Twitter or in... No. It was in analytics for the Twitch chat of the event. Skate was like the most mentioned thing. And it's... Why is this not here? Well, why isn't at least...
never getting made.
Skate's never getting made. I understand that. Why at least isn't Sessions there to satiate these people? Like, holy crap.
Yeah, that didn't make sense. I don't know. I can't remember who's publishing that. I believe the game was
It's Ubi, right? Or is it EA?
No, because it was shown during the Microsoft press conference. So
was it?
Yeah. I haven't got it in front of me. But yeah, Session, that I'm surprised. But I guess how much is a skateboarding game going to hit the mainstream, I guess, is the thing. It's a bit of a niche market, even though people are desperate for this skate game. So, also didn't see anything from System Shock 3. They dropped a teaser trailer during the game's developers press conference earlier this year, so I guess it's pretty early in development, so it's not surprising that there's nothing going on about that. Neo 2. That was announced during Sony's press conference last year. Haven't seen anything or heard anything about that. Apparently there was a closed alpha recently, but Team Ninja has apparently been radio silent about that game.
When was Neo released? Is that 2017? Or was that last year?
I believe so. It must have been before Well, 2 was announced last year, so it must have been the year
Must have
before.
been 20. Yeah, okay. Fuck, that feels like Neo was only like in the last year. Neo doesn't, but maybe I'm just thinking of freaking Sekiro, and it's kind of the same game.
I mean, it looks like Sekiro. It looks like Dark Souls. It looks like every other one of those games. So, and then of course we didn't get the Rocksteady game, which breaks my heart. It breaks everybody's heart. Again, disappointing us right before E3, tweeting out that they're not going to be there. But at least this year they told us beforehand. Last year, everybody saw the press conference and were getting upset. So, didn't get that. Didn't get the Harry Potter game that Dylan wanted. Didn't get the other WB game that's being worked on. So, yeah, I think that. Is there anything else that you wish we'd seen at E3?
No, I don't think so. I think there's a lot to cram in for the end of console life cycles, and I'm not too interested in seeing in too much stuff that isn't going to be out for this console. Yep. I'd rather them keep that for next year and have next year to be massive.
Well, of course, the only other thing is there was obviously nothing for the big 3 Sony games that are coming down the line. But
well, we knew
we weren't expecting anything.
No, I don't think. Yeah, I'm not expecting anything. They'll all be PS5 games.
Ooh, that's a big call. Everybody thinks Last of Us is coming out in February, so...
Wow, yikes.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, guys. It was a joke.
Drop it. Drop it.
Alright. Hopefully that's the last we speak of E3 for a while.
Yes, I hope so.
That's not true. They're going to announce the E3 awards, and then we'll talk about it again.
Yeah, probably.
But then after that, not till next... Well, unless Sony announce they're going to make changes next year. Or somebody else drops out at E3.
Yes.
It could happen.
Yes.
But yeah. E3 are 2 symbols, I guess, that we're not going to say together for a while.
No, hopefully. E and 3 are not together in any form. No. Let's just put it to death, Ash.
Thank you for joining us on the couch this week. Make sure you check out explosionnetwork.com for all our other shows, reviews, news, articles, and more. You can rate Arcade Couch on Apple Podcasts or on Podchaser to help out the show, or simply share it on social media with your friends. You can follow the Explosion Network on Twitter at ExplosionPod and join our Discord at explosionnetwork.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Ashley Hobley, ASHLEYHOBLEY. You can follow Ciaran on Twitter at yourboyringo. That brings us to the end of this episode, so I guess we'll see you next week. Same time. Same couch.
Ashley, you have such a way of like outroing shows. This is just.
I got. Catch up on the latest TV, online media and movie news from the biggest comic book films and YouTube crazes to our local cinema scene, and then hear what we've been watching before asking the age-old question, what do you want to watch? Available on all podcast services every second Friday. Just search your podcast app for What Do You Want to Watch and subscribe for free now. And keep watching stuff, I guess.